We've talked a lot about the detail of these tax cuts, but I want a political assessment from both of you. I'll start with you, Nicole. You've been in a marginal seat. I know he's been paying off people with some of the increases to lower income earners in these cuts today, but just the gist of a broken promise out there in the electorate. How do you think this is going to go down?
I don't think it's going to go down at all well, Peter. Labor, the Federal Labor Party, have a very unfortunate history when it comes to tax cuts. Let's just look back to Paul Keating. I think it was 1992 before the 93 election. He said the tax cuts were LAW law, and he lied. He broke that promise, and we've seen Prime Minister Anthony Albanese doing exactly the same thing. He and Treasurer Jim Chalmers have said, over 100 times that they were going to honour the Stage 3 tax cuts. They are not doing that. The Daily Telegraph's front page today said it so well. The Prime Minister is a liability. And I can tell you what, here in South Australia, we're very sensitive about Labor lying at the moment because we've got record high power prices that were supposed to be cut thanks to the federal Labor government. And at the state level, Premier Peter Malinauskas said that he was going to end ambulance ramping. He hasn't. Labor are breaking promises all over the place. And South Australia has a couple of key seats that if Peter Dutton wins, we will take federal government back. And I sincerely hope we do, because the Australian people deserve better than a Prime Minister and a federal Labor government and state Labor governments who continue to lie to voters.
Terry, politicians don't like to talk about polling. They like to have this fiction that they don't care about polling. They say, I'm never going to comment on the polling, but of course we know. They read it like a best-selling novel. They love their polling. Peter Dutton talked, though, about polling today, and this was unusual. He said, I get the polling for Dunkley, and I can tell you Labor's in trouble. I know it's tight. Now, that's what I'm hearing from insiders on both sides. His argument is that this is all about Dunkley. This is seen through the prism of Dunkley. Well, Dunkley's in Melbourne. It's down near Frankston. I know you know the seat well. How's this going to play out, do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting one, Peter, because Dunkley, if you look at the demographics of it, it's got the lot. It's got a very affluent area around Mount Eliza. It's got mortgage belt suburbs like Carrum Downs and Sandhurst, new suburbs with lots of young aspirational voters, but it's also got areas of great disadvantage around Frankston North and Seaford. And certainly I think we're going to see 3 different by-elections in that seat as a result of that. But I think that question of trust, that question of being able to take a politician at his or her word, I think is absolutely essential to all voters, because you vote on what they say before an election, but you judge them what they do afterwards. And I think in this case, the voters of Dunkley, if this was a Dunkley-targeted promise, and certainly the way the Prime Minister talked about it today at the press club, he said, we did this by orderly government, not by PowerPoint presentations from pollsters. I lay you London to a brick. It was the second that led to the first.